Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect happens when people who are bad at a task truly believe they are highly skilled at it, mainly because they know so little about the subject that they cannot even see their own mistakes. This creates a situation where beginners show extreme confidence and never question their own choices, while true experts know exactly how hard the task actually is, which makes them constantly doubt their own skills. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias happens when your brain acts like a strict bouncer. It eagerly lets in any information that proves you are already right, but completely blocks out facts that prove you wrong. When faced with hard evidence that destroys their argument, people rarely change their minds. They just attack the evidence. This traps you in a dangerous echo chamber where you stop learning the actual truth. Sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy happens when you keep pouring time or money into a failing project just because you already invested in it. Logically, you should only care about future results, but human pride makes us refuse to accept a loss. So, instead of walking away from a broken car or a bad business, you throw more money at it trying to fix the past. That past money is already gone. Refusing to quit doesn't save your investment. It just guarantees you will lose even more in the end. Anchoring bias. Anchoring bias locks the brain onto the first number presented. If a TV is initially priced at $2,000, that becomes the baseline. A sudden discount to $500 feels like a victory. However, if the actual market value is only $300, you still suffered a financial loss. The artificial initial anchor successfully manipulated your perception of absolute value. Availability heuristic. The availability heuristic makes you judge danger based on how easily you recall examples. The news constantly broadcasts shark attacks, so you fear the ocean. Meanwhile, you text and drive while eating junk food. Statistically, car crashes and heart disease are drastically more lethal. However, because everyday deaths are not televised, your brain ignores them. You naturally fear rare, spectacular events while remaining completely blind to the actual daily threats. Attribution error. The fundamental attribution error is a cognitive double standard. When others fail, you blame their inherent personality. If another driver cuts you off, you assume they are selfish. When you commit the exact same infraction, you blame external circumstances, such as running late. We attribute others' mistakes to who they are, but excuse our own based on environmental factors. Halo effect. The halo effect occurs when a single positive trait skews your entire perception of a person. If someone is physically attractive, your brain automatically assumes they are also intelligent and honest. Aesthetics are illogically conflated with competence. Consequently, attractive individuals frequently secure promotions over highly skilled peers. One superficial trait completely blinds the brain to actual underlying flaws. Self-serving bias. Self-serving bias is a psychological defense mechanism protecting the ego. When you succeed, you claim full credit, attributing the victory to your hard work and superior intelligence. However, when you fail, you instantly blame external factors. You claim the test was rigged, the boss was unfair, or you simply had bad luck. Your brain accepts all victories, but rejects all defeats. Framing effect. The framing effect proves your choices are manipulated by how information is presented, not the actual facts. If a doctor says a surgery has a 90% survival rate, you immediately agree. If they say there is a 10% chance of death, you panic and refuse. The math is completely identical. However, because one phrase highlights a gain and the other highlights a loss, your brain reacts completely differently. Words control your decisions much more than objective reality does. Bandwagon. The bandwagon effect is the psychological urge to do something simply because everyone else is doing it. Logic and critical thinking are abandoned to fit in with the herd. If a group starts buying a useless stock or following a ridiculous trend, your brain feels intense pressure to join them to avoid being left out. This primitive mentality creates massive economic bubbles and the rapid spread of terrible ideas. Group agreement easily overrides individual intelligence. Negativity bias. Negativity bias dictates that the human brain prioritizes adverse information over positive data. If you receive 10 compliments and 1 insult, your cognitive resources will obsessively process the insult. This mechanism evolved for survival. Remembering a lethal predator was biologically more valuable than recalling a pleasant sunset. However, in modern environments, this outdated survival tactic generates chronic anxiety and irrational risk aversion. Your brain magnifies minor negative events while systematically filtering out the vast majority of positive occurrences, permanently skewing your perception of reality. Hindsight bias. Hindsight bias is the cognitive illusion that you accurately predicted an event after it has already occurred. Following a sudden stock market crash or a sports upset, individuals routinely claim they saw it coming. In reality, the brain retroactively rewrites memory to manufacture a false sense of intellectual control. This illusion is highly dangerous. Believing you possess the ability to predict the past generates severe overconfidence, guaranteeing that you will make catastrophic, high-risk miscalculations when forced to predict the actual future. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking, as well as commenting.